Shaun Greenhalgh was once a prolific forger. From ancient carvings to modern paintings, there was nothing he couldn't make.
A bit like putting in an old window.
But a spell in prison convinced him to renounce his past. So he's teamed up with Oxford historian Dr Janina Ramirez
Oh my gosh!
to rediscover the secrets of the ancients and to try to match their skills. As for me, I'm Waldemar Januszczak, and my job is to keep tabs on them. The Ashmolean Museum in Oxford has one of the world's great collections of ancient art.
Oh, my favourite gallery, Shaun.
It's a museum full of treasures, and Janina has brought Shaun here to see some of them.
Stunning glittering pieces in here. But really beautiful. Caught my eye here. These gold and garnet birds. They're absolutely exquisite, aren't they?
Spectacular, aren't they?
Yeah, there are some wonderful pieces here.
Yeah, there are.
Bird or eagle brooches were the most spectacular jewellery of the Dark Ages. And the most spectacular of all were made by the Visigoths.
Cloisonné eagles. Even in this one cabinet, you can see how popular this imagery of the hook-beaked bird is. You've got a pair there and another pair right next to
Yes,
it.
it's very popular.
Yeah, and they must have been fashionable. This was a sort of symbolism.
Yeah, I think it's kind of combination of the old idea of the Roman eagle and the raven on the battlefield in the Dark Ages.
Yeah. So popular, fashionable,
Yeah.
and such exquisite artistic skill.
Absolutely, yeah, they're really, really finely made.
It's incredible to think these things were made with no artificial light, no running water.
Supposedly no magnification.
Right. It's going to be a challenge for you, isn't it?
Well, it is, yes. It's probably one of the hardest things I've made. I've only made one before and very difficult, time-consuming, but...
So you're anxious about this one?
A little bit, yes. I'll get it done, though.
Oh, gosh, this is the one I'm most excited about seeing.
This is the most work, too.
Excellent. Right, looking forward to it.
OK.
The next morning in Oxford, Janina sets off to delve deeper into the Visigoths. Their story's full of twists and turns, so there's a lot to keep up with.
Visigoths. They are a group of people that are part of this broader set known as the Goths, who moved all the way across Western Europe, largely during this period known as the migration period. As the Empire of Rome was starting to crumble, it meant that there were territories where these what the Romans referred to as barbarian tribes were able to claim land, claim power, and establish themselves. And the heartland, really, for the Goths is the Germanic territories. But with the decline of the Roman Empire, they took advantage of the power vacuum and began to move southwards, and then eventually spread down into Spain. And that's where they make their real homeland.
Back in his own homeland of Lancashire, Shaun Greenhalgh has come to the Owl and Bird of Prey Sanctuary in Turbury Woods. He's met by John the Ranger,
Hi, John. Hi, Shaun. Nice to meet you. Yeah.
who introduces him to the residents.
Let me show you around.
Thank you.
Here we have our snowy owl. His name's Bruce.
Hello, Bruce.
He's been with us for quite some time. He's one of the oldest birds that we've found before I was.
Right. He looks an old guy, doesn't he?
Yeah. This is Edgar, our raven, named after the Edgar Allan Poe poem.
Right, the battle hawk.
Yeah. Beautiful coloured feathers there.
Yes.
But the bird Shaun really wants to see is Stella the steppe eagle. She's the kind of bird the Visigoths would have hunted with. So Shaun is keen to take a good look at her.
OK, Shaun, so this is Stella.
Yeah. Hello, Stella.
She's a steppe eagle.
Right.
As you can see, she's very noisy.
Yeah, how old is she now?
She's about 8 years old. And these steppe eagles, their range is from obviously all the stands, Turkmenistan, Kazakhstan, Afghanistan, right up to China.
You can see why the Dark Age people were impressed with them, can't you?
Yeah.
The elegance and the majesty of them. The king of birds, really.
Who is that? Eh? Who's that?
A stranger. Am I bothering you? Well, I'm doing a Visigothic eagle brooch, actually.
Oh.
The golden garnet ones from the 5th and 6th century. And I think these would inspire the guys to wear them, the kings and the manufacturers of them, especially. Yes.
Okay. So if you just put your arm out like that, open your hand up.
Transfer backwards.
She'll step. It's okay. Just open your thumb up. Grab the jacket. Just open your thumb up. So you keep those nice and tight.
There you go. There you go, Stella. New master. Well, not a master, a servant. That's more it, isn't it? We're the servants, the birds are the masters. What a magnificent creature. Wow. You're something, aren't you? Hey, Stella? I'm going to make an eagle brooch after you. Name it after you as well. Yeah? Well, I think you like that, don't you? A Visigothic eagle brooch. Stella the eagle brooch. Yeah.
Shaun's workshop is in a converted mill in Bolton. And the next morning, he gets there bright and early to draw up his plans for his eagle brooch.
And that's what I'm hoping to make. It's a Visigothic eagle brooch, 6th century, silver gilt with garnets, amethysts, blue and green glass as the Visigoths used. So the first thing is to make the casting for the actual metal brooch, the eagle with the pin on the back. You can get failings in casting there. Then we have to make the actual structure within, the cell structure within. That has to be soldered together. Now you can get a failing in soldering if you get the temperature too high. Parts of it will collapse because it's very, very thin. It's only 0.5 millimetre thickness, the sheets, the silver, so that could be a problem. And then the last one that can be the greatest problem is the cutting of the stones. They have to be sliced very thinly. And then they have to be cut to exact shape because there's no adhesive used in this. It's all just held in by tension, one stone pressing on another.
With the design done, the next task is to get the stones for it, starting with the garnets.
I used to go to a place called Manchester Minerals when I was a lad. Could buy them online at Stockport, but now it's all online. I need cabochon garnets. Obviously the Visigoth ones have gone online to buy theirs, but so I'll have to order these 10 by 8s, £2.32 if you buy more than 2. I'm definitely going to need more than 2. Right, now we're looking for amethysts. Amethyst, here we are. Click on that.
For the silver, Shaun's going to do what the Visigoths did and use melted coins.
Some silver bars. Silver Britannias, what page are they?
The Visigoths preferred Roman silver, but Shaun's gone for American.
Ah, here we are. Yankee dollars, £24. That's not a bad price, actually.
A few days later, Janina comes up to Bolton to see how Shaun's doing.
Hi, Shaun. Lovely to be at your home.
The garnets have arrived,
Here we are.
and she's keen to see the design.
My favourite thing, bird symbols. Wow. I love this. Obviously much bigger than it's actually going to be.
Absolutely, yes. Probably be about the size of the tail, if that.
Oh.
The actual thing, but I've exploded it so we can see it clearly.
That's gorgeous. What have you got in terms of the different gems then?
Well, the garnets have come. You can see them there. They have to be sliced and cut to size.
So you're going to be working with these tiny little pieces?
They'll be tiny when we're finished.
Are they going to get flattened down then?
Yes. Then we have to cut them to fit the actual cells.
Right.
This will be silver gilt, the board. The yellow part will be silver gilt, you can see. These are amethysts used by the Visigoths. They used a lot of amethysts in the work. And these parts are glass, green glass and blue glass. Probably reused Roman glass.
Of course, that's what
Sliced
they
and
would have
polished.
used.
Of course they would, yes.
So you're going to get hold of some?
Yes. Maybe not Roman glass, but glass.
My goodness.
In his workshop the next day, Shaun starts shaping the precious stones, flattening and polishing the garnets and the amethysts.
Sometimes they polish really well, but other times you can just get an awkward stone that just doesn't want to play.
The polished garnets are looking darker than he wanted,
A little impurity in it.
but they're the only ones he can get.
Polish them up as well as it should. Right, now I've ground them down to flat, so now I have to polish them on the cerium oxide with a leather mop. The first thing to do is put this on, because with the water splashing is okay, but with the cerium oxide, it makes a real mess. So we'll put this on as a collar to catch the sprays. It's whizzing out. This is a cerium oxide mixed with water. Well, cerium oxide is a mineral used in lapidary. It goes down to about 1 or 2 microns, so it's very, very fine polish. Standard in the jewellery trade to use it. We're to spoon some of that on, and this is going to fly. We'll spread it out a little bit so we don't all get a bit of it. And then we'll flick it on now. Get it up to speed. This does grab a little bit, so it might pull at it, but we'll give it our best shot. And there we have a satin finish. Let's take off the glue. The best way to take off with your teeth, you don't scratch the surface of the stone. Right, there we have it, the finished stone.
Downstairs at the mill, there's been another delivery.
Right, the silver dollars have arrived, so we'll have a look at those.
Shaun's using American dollars because the silver in them is 99% pure. And now that the dollars are in, he's ready to start his eagle brooch. The first task is to make a bird-shaped body for the brooch. It's going to be cast in silver, but he starts by making a wax model out of humble beeswax.
Find a local beekeeper, they'll always let you have a few pound of beeswax.
With the eagle shape done, Shaun needs to work out how to get the silver into the mould. So he constructs an elaborate system of wax pipes. Runners for the silver to go in, risers for the hot air to go out.
The Visigoths would have used beeswax just in this same manner. It's a very ancient technique called the lost wax process.
With the wax model done, Shaun builds himself a case for the mould out of strips of steel from his local hardware shop.
Measure twice, cut once.
When that's done, he fills the case with plaster and inserts his wax model. When he puts it in the kiln, the plaster will bake hard. The wax will melt out, and he'll have a mould for his Visigoth brooch.
Right, we're going to melt the silver now, the coins into the furnace, and then get the mould out and pour the lost wax casting. Put them in one at a time. Right. Right, ready to go? Oh, the whole thing's broken to pieces. Damn it, we'll just put the lid down. The steel's gone to... What kind of steel are they using now? What am I going to grab that out with? Just give me a minute, it's not completely... So the steel's all turned to crumble. Can you believe it? Heavens above, I need something large to grip it with now. Oh, unless I try to grab it between two of these, that's very risky. That's very. I can't use that. It's very risky. This. Let's just try it. We just have to get it down onto here. So lift that out. Try to grab the mould. No. No, it's breaking up. Oh, there's something in the freaking mould there blocking it. Right, anyway, we'll give it a try. Right, we're going to pour the silver now. Pull it down. Oh, I think it might have filled the mould, you know. That's steel. Look at that, steel. That's never steel. This was purchased as 0.5mm steel. It's been in a burnout furnace for 12 hours and it's gone like tissue paper. The steel I used to use just 20 years ago, you could reuse the flask 20 times before it was in a bad state. So you can see the quality of metal, how it's deteriorated. I don't know where this is from, and I won't say, but it's not British steel, that's for sure. Oh.
Despite the shoddy steel, Shaun has managed to cast something. The question is, what?
We'll just have to see anyway. There might be a chance that it's actually filled the mould. The mould is totally disintegrated, the actual casting. Now, the moment of truth, you can see what we have. I think we might have it, but I can't see for sure.
While Shaun in Bolton has been sweating over his casting, Janina in Oxford has been delving even deeper into the Visigoths.
What's interesting about the Visigoths is that they were the only people that managed to build great cities between the collapse of Rome around the 400s and the Carolingian Empire in the 800s. They also absorbed Christianity. And as a result of this, they start producing beautiful works of art with different types of materials, pearls, sapphires, rubies, that have a Christian message. And they are a very unique development in the history of art. But when we see objects like the eagle brooches, they're coming probably from that earlier phase of the Visigothic travels across Europe. They're not overtly Christian. They seem to be connecting back to a worldview where nature and man can slide between one another, where a man can turn into an eagle and turn into a god. So that is what we're looking at with these eagle brooches.
Back in his workshop, the man-god of Bolton has some good news. His silver cast may have left the kiln looking like a clump of seaweed, but with a bit of sprucing up, it's come out rather well.
Still needs quite a bit of work, polishing and what have you, but that's workable. I can get that finished. I've taken all the runners and risers off. We've got the pin to go in here. I'm just putting the herringbone pattern into the back of the brooch now. Typical of Visigothic stuff, probably representing feather pattern.
Having cut in the herringbone feathers, Shaun burnishes the back of the brooch the traditional way, by rubbing it with a spoon.
Standard process, they didn't have sandpaper, so they used something hard, shiny metal, or possibly an agate stone.
With the Visigoth brooch starting to look like a Visigoth brooch, Shaun needs something to keep it in. So he pops upstairs to his pal Apenda, who runs a Bolton clothing store.
Hi, Apenda.
Hey, Shaun.
How's
You
things?
right?
Yeah. I've got a bit of a job for you.
Yeah.
This is something I'm making. This is actual size, but that's enlarged just so you can see the detail.
No, it's pretty cool, isn't it?
Visigothic brooch, set with gems eventually. Now, I want kind of a pouch for it, either velvet or leather. What would you recommend?
That's brilliant, that. Like it. Leather would be nice, wouldn't it?
Leather, I think, we'll set on. Yeah, yeah.
Okay. About that sort of size.
Yeah, just to fit it snugly. So,
Sweet.
Yeah.
Looks really nice.
So how much is that?
About 20 quid.
That's great,
Two
yeah, yeah.
weeks.
2 weeks, that's
Is that enough?
great.
Is that all
Yeah,
right?
that's fine. Thank you very much, yeah.
Cool.
That'd be ideal.
All right, like
Great
it.
stuff. Thank
All
you.
right. See you later, Shaun.
Bye-bye.
Back in the workshop, it's time to begin the most complicated part of the brooch. Making and fitting the silver compartments for the garnets and the amethysts.
I've started out with a piece of silver. I've beaten it down some already. Then repeat the process over and over again, maybe 8 or 10 times until we get down to the thin stuff that we can use for the cells.
When the silver's thin enough, Shaun cuts and fits the individual cells. It's a delicate task that requires maximum precision.
Trying to position the eye now, which is all crucial to give the thing the look of life.
And when all the bits are cut and shaped,
Right, I'm going to have to put my magnifiers on for this one.
Shaun breaks open his soldering kit and starts putting the jigsaw together.
The Visigoths would have used a handheld blow lamp to get the flame, but it takes constant practice to do well, so we just use this.
And after a lot of fiddling, the various bits are all made.
Wing and the other wing. I'll get the head in now. Job done.
Back upstairs, the pouch that Shaun ordered should also be ready.
Ah, Leslie. Hello,
Oh,
Leslie.
hiya.
Hiya. Are the pouches ready at all?
Yeah, they are actually, yeah.
Right, oh,
Yeah.
oh, great. They look great, them. It's looking good. It's a snug
Is it
fit,
great?
but I prefer a snug fit, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it won't sort of move about then.
Exactly, yeah, yeah. Oh, that's great,
Yeah,
that.
do you hear my sales pitch then, yeah. Right then.
Yeah, that's great. So, what do I owe you?
Nothing. No, it's
Sure?
all right, yeah, yeah.
Right then, thank
Do
you
me
very
a
much.
favour.
Okay.
Do me a pint.
Right, anytime. Okay, thank you.
Okay, thanks
Bye-bye.
a lot. See ya.
Bye-bye.
Now he's got the pouch, Shaun can begin work on the blingy bits of the Visigoth brooch.
Right, I'm getting on with the gilding now. This is electro gilding rather than the mercury gilding, but it's so toxic I just can't afford my health to do such things anymore. So I've used it a couple of times. It's very damaging to the health, so that's out of the question now. So we'll carry on with this. Just dip into solution, form a full electrical circuit, and the gilding starts to go on gently. It's like a magical process, like seeing a picture developing a developing tray as it comes up from silver to gold. The Visigoths used gilt silver and gilt bronze mostly, but they did use silver as well, and occasionally for the top pieces solid gold, but cost-wise we're using silver. Basic electroplating caused a great stir when it first came out. It is a magical kind of process, similar to photography, and its magical quality, it just turns base metals into gold. To look as though they're gold, obviously they know, but to the eye, it fools the eye just as photography does. So. Get the edge of it, that's where they get worn the most, so we'll put an extra thick layer on any sharp edges so they last and they don't get worn through. Right, I've virtually done in there now, but I've a little bit spilt, so we'll use every last drop. I think that's just about done it now. We've used everything.
With the brooch gilded, the next task is to line it with gold foil.
This is to reflect the light behind the stone you see in all medieval and Dark Age garnet jewellery.
But getting the gold leaf into the cells is a tricky business, with every cell individually fitted.
Right, we've done the foils, now the actual stone has to be fitted. Need my goggles on for this, but it's very fine work. Fit it around, get it in the top edge, lay it down. Now, you can see that's not quite right. I have to get my grinder now, the diamond bar, and take a very fraction off that edge. Fractions of a millimetre we're talking about. I'll get on with that now with the diamond bar. Like I said, there's no adhesives used, they're just held in by very close fit. Continually. It might be there now. Right, that's the garnet fixed. So many more to do. I'll have to get on with the next one. The amethyst next, so we'll start with that.
1 stone down, 49 to go. For Shaun Greenhalgh, it's going to be a long summer.
I am particularly excited about seeing this Visigothic brooch that Shaun's been making. I know there's been some issues, particularly sourcing the right kind of garnets because they simply aren't available anymore. I know it's going to be bigger than these ones, so inevitably a lot more work. Can't wait to see what he's come up with. Hello, Shaun.
Hi, Nina.
And how's it been?
I've one or two issues with it. Mostly the garnets, trying to source the same kind of colours.
And that's just because there isn't a supply of the
You
right
just
colours?
can't get them anymore. So
Right,
that's
okay.
a bit of a problem.
Well, I can't wait. I can't wait to see it. Let's get it out.
Okay. There we go.
Oh, Shaun, it's amazing. I love it. Oh my goodness. That is absolutely beautiful. And you've got the glass in there?
Yeah, the green and the blue is glass, yes.
My goodness.
Amethysts and garnets.
And have you put the foil behind the amethyst? Is that an amethyst in the centre?
It is, yeah. I just didn't have time to make it as I wanted to make it with the garnets and amethyst, so I've had to just put that in just to end it.
Yes, because I remember
Yes.
in the original design it was going to be garnet, but you know, this is so true to the Visigothic form because you've got the coloured glass, and then that mix between the garnets and the amethyst is actually it's a striking effect, isn't it? It creates a completely
very
different
Visigothic,
look.
yes.
I mean, I have heard, a little bird told me that a big bird is the inspiration for this. Stella,
Yes.
the eagle from the reserve.
Yes.
Have you named it Stella?
Stella, yes.
Excellent. It's a fitting name, perfect name for it. I want to have a look at the back as well. That's looking good. I love the way you've scored it here.
That's just the pattern, they put a herringbone pattern on, but the interesting thing about it is that if you look at it, the pin is offset to one side.
Yeah.
So when it hangs on the cloak, the eagle leans in on a thick woolen cloak rather than flat or out. That's for the right-hand one. They usually had a left-hand one as well, and they put the pin on the other side, so they're both kind of leaning in. Yeah.
That's incredible. Wonderful thing, you know, that you've managed to bring in that small sort of detail, but that really brings
it's a small
to
detail
life.
that counts, isn't it?
And it looks incredible, it looks authentic. Wow. And it weighs a lot.
Yeah. It's a fair beast.
It is a fair
Stella was,
beast.
wasn't she?
Yeah. Well, I am so impressed by Stella. She is
you.
stunning. It's also, yeah, pretty impressive
It is.
statement of power, isn't it? When you imagine someone wearing a pair of these. Serious bling.
That's what they went in for.
Yep. Well, listen, there's always more to be done, isn't there? Shall we get on and do the next thing?
Okay, come on, let's go.
Went to college, studied art. To be an artist, make a start. Studied hard, gained my degree. No one seemed to notice me. Painter man, who would be a painter man?